They've done it again. They've taken one of the brightest stars in the wrestling world and broken her in the most devastating way possible. Just when Becky Lynch had everything within her grasp, just when she was ready to cement her legacy as the greatest women's champion of her generation, it was ripped away in a moment that left the entire WWE universe stunned. What happened yesterday wasn't just bad luck. It wasn't just an accident. This was a catastrophic and heartbreaking incident that has shaken the foundation of the women's division and left fans questioning everything. Becky Lynch, the face of women's wrestling, the fighter who battled her way through every obstacle, is now being forced to relinquish the championship she fought so hard to claim. And the worst part is that this nightmare could have been prevented. Let's break down exactly what went down, because if you haven't seen the footage, brace yourself. During what was meant to be a routine live event in Manchester, Becky was defending her title, giving fans the show they came to see. Everything was going smoothly. Becky was in full control, doing what she does best, delivering her signature strikes, feeding off the energy of the crowd, proving once again why she's one of the most believable and respected fighters in the history of WWE. And then, in one split second, everything changed. Her opponent went for a diving attack from the top rope, but the execution was off. The trajectory was wrong, the timing was off, and Becky, being the professional she's always been, tried to adjust in midair to protect both herself and her opponent. But no amount of heart or experience could change physics. The impact was brutal. The sickening sound of the collision echoed through the arena, and in that instant, you could feel the air leave the room. Fans went silent. The referee immediately threw up the dreaded X sign. Medical staff stormed the ring as Becky clutched her shoulder in visible agony. This wasn't a storyline. This wasn't part of the show. This was a legitimate, career-threatening injury playing out in real time. For 20 long minutes, Becky was treated inside the ring while thousands of stunned fans looked on, many in tears, many praying. Some of the toughest WWE fans who cheer through everything were left silent, realizing they might have just witnessed the end of an era. Reports quickly began surfacing that Becky had suffered a severe shoulder injury, possible dislocation, torn ligaments, and likely rotator cuff damage. Doctors confirmed she'd need surgery, followed by a grueling recovery process that could take anywhere from 9 to 12 months. Think about that for a second. That's not just losing the championship. That's missing WrestleMania. That's missing the biggest paydays of the year. That's sitting on the sidelines watching others take the spotlight she earned with her blood, sweat, and tears. Becky Lynch isn't just another wrestler. She revolutionized women's wrestling. She proved women could main event WrestleMania, that women could carry the company, that women could draw ratings and sell merchandise at the same level as men. She built the women's division into something that mattered. And now, through no fault of her own, she's being robbed of what should have been her defining year. What makes this even worse is the fact that multiple backstage reports suggest this could have been prevented. Sources indicate that there were concerns about the opponent Becky faced that night. This wasn't about malice, it was about inexperience, a lack of training, and a history of unsafe moments in the ring. Producers reportedly debated whether the match should even happen. Concerns were raised, but in the end, the almighty WWE schedule won. The show had to go on, and Becky, the ultimate professional, trusted the system. She trusted WWE not to put her in harm's way. That trust has now been shattered, along with her shoulder. The company released a short statement today, filled with corporate language that said nothing and took no accountability. They simply wished Becky a speedy recovery, while at the same time preparing to turn her very real suffering into a storyline for Monday Night Raw. Tomorrow, they plan to put Becky on television, shoulder-strapped, possibly wheelchair-bound, forcing her to hand over the championship she never lost, all for ratings. That's the reality of WWE. They exploit real pain for profit. And imagine the psychological toll this must be taking on Becky. She's sacrificed everything for this business, worked injured, returned from pregnancy faster than anyone thought possible, carried the women's division for years, and now she has to sit back and watch WWE move on without her. The wrestling community has exploded in outrage. Social media is filled with support for Becky, but also harsh criticism of WWE's so-called safety protocols. Veterans and current stars alike are pointing out the same disturbing pattern. This keeps happening. Top talent keep getting hurt because the company refuses to slow down, refuses to prioritize safety over schedule. CM Punk said it best when he wrote, "They don't care about you. They care about the show." And looking at WWE's track record, he's right. Wrestlers are treated as disposable parts of the machine. If you break, they'll just replace you. Triple H, who now runs creative and has branded himself as someone who cares about the performers, has remained completely silent. No accountability. No leadership. Nothing but silence and corporate spin. And the financial implications are massive. Becky Lynch is one of WWE's biggest merchandise sellers. She was in talks for endorsements and crossover projects outside of wrestling. All of that is now gone, millions of dollars in lost opportunities wiped out in an instant. Meanwhile, WWE continues to run its grueling live event schedule, shows that many argue are outdated and unnecessary in today's streaming-driven industry. For what? For tradition? For a handful of ticket sales? These house shows are putting unnecessary strain on performers, and this time it's cost WWE one of its most valuable stars. Now WWE is moving forward with a tournament to crown a new champion. The women competing deserve their spotlight, but this isn't the way anyone wanted it. Their reigns will always be overshadowed by the fact that Becky never lost the title in the ring. And that casts a shadow over the entire women's division. This is bigger than just an injury. This is about accountability. This is about how WWE treats the very people who make the company what it is. Becky Lynch's injury is a tragedy for her, for the women's division, and for wrestling as a whole. Tomorrow night on Raw, fans will chant her name, they'll cry, they'll cheer, they'll show their love. But behind all that emotion, there should be anger. Anger at a system that allowed this to happen. Anger at a company that prioritizes the show over the safety.